right, top four podcast, those listening, specifically Peter. We know that you've been very, very critical of your manager, Mikel, or Michael Arthur, as you like to call him. The question I want to pose to you, and everyone else can chime in, is given any opportunity, or specifically this season, if he doesn't give any success, would you replace him with one Mauricio Pochettino?
Oh, this is a horrible question. It's a horrible question because should I take one, if he doesn't fulfill his objectives, right? If I replace one failure with another failure, which failure would I rather have, right? That's what you're asking me. And you put me between a rock and a hard place. The truth of the matter is this, right? Arteta, it depends what kind of football we get out of him, for example, the 2022 season, 2023. It depends what kind of football, what kind of style of football we have. Because what we're then comparing is two managers who, okay, they've won trophies in terms of in their respective clubs. But, for me, it's now, what's next is who plays better, which one's more entertaining. And I would slightly, as things stand so far, I'd slightly go, but I'm having to go far, by the way. Pochettino's like 2015, 16, 17 Spurs.
Good grief.
You understand? So I'm not necessarily. If you ask me, do I have the rotten apple or the rotten pear? What we do?
But I think
that's harsh, man.
Why is it harsh?
I think the question needs to be looked at is who do you think can take you back to the top, so to speak?
Can I answer that?
Quicker. Who out of the two? You don't tell me neither.
Well, neither.
I mean, who has the highest chance?
Neither can.
Who has the highest chance out of the two?
They're actually the same. It's actually the same.
So, would you think would
Mikel
Arteta be able to win a league on? Let's say
with PSG,
with the PSG that he had, not the PSG now.
I'd say so.
With his eyes closed.
I'd say so. Because listen, who hasn't won the title in PSG? Look at Laurent Blanc. No, I mean Poch won it.
He won it the second time, but I remember the first time. Yeah,
he
did
did start.
Back to the charity.
He didn't start that season.
Every PSG manager has won the league with PSG. Like in terms of the last decade, right? Laurent Blanc has won the friggin' French title.
Where is he?
Where is he?
I had those links of all sorts of jobs, and then he just faded into the night.
He was linked with us
like a thief.
He was linked to United.
I'm sure his links back to France as well.
The French national team was
he managed them once, didn't he? Did he not manage them already? Why did I think he managed them already?
No, I think I agree with you, but I know,
guys, you're asking me a rubbish question. This is difficult to answer because you're not giving me something.
It's not difficult to answer at all. Pochettino is currently out of a job.
Yes.
Mikel Arteta is the Arsenal manager.
Yes.
If you were to replace Mikel Arteta with Pochettino, do you think you have a better chance of, let's say, getting into the Champions League?
Given Poch actually has experience.
Do you know what? I'm trying to dwell on Pochettino's Tottenham success.
Poch took Tottenham to the Champions League multiple times.
Took them to a final, let's not forget. And for me, I feel like Pochettino, there's been a nasty stain against his name that I, for the life of me, can't quite understand. Yeah, because I remember when he was linked with Man United fans were turning their nose up him. We'd never consider Pochettino. He's no good. Like for me, like when you look at that sustained period, I was going to say of success, but he obviously never won anything. But when you look at that sustained period at Tottenham Hotspur, relative to them, it was quite successful. This is a guy that he's actually developed that team, and he's taken him from like a 3 or 4 right up to a 7 or 8. And this is a time like Tottenham Hotspur were genuinely in title races. Like Tottenham Hotspur finished second in the league. Tottenham Hotspur have been to Champions League finals. Tottenham Hotspur were playing a good style of football. And obviously Pochettino was a massive part of that. It's fizzled, and I do think he's maybe a bit of an underdog. So maybe he might not necessarily be like a top club, but a team like Arsenal that are pushing to get to that next level, I can certainly see him.
Do you know what I think hinders Poch? Is surrounding the conversation we had last week where I was disagreeing with you about Harry Kane. People believe that certain people are just winners, and they believe that other people are not winners. Personally, I don't have that approach to sport or just life in general. But there's just genuine stigma around Poch that people think he's not a winner. People think he can't win a trophy because he hadn't won one at Spurs or at Southampton or prior. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, he went to PSG and he won a trophy, but it's PSG. So the trophies you win at PSG don't count, apparently.
So how does he win then?
Can I help argue that case? Yeah. Southampton and even Espanyol, Southampton and Spurs, he did a phenomenal. let me tell you, it's outrageous what he did at those clubs, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Because Southampton, let's be fair, they're a team that are in good stead in the Premier League purely because of his success. And obviously now they've gone through the mire, right? Southampton, and they could be gone for all we know.
That's putting it kindly.
Yeah, but and same with Spurs, right? Spurs again are a team who, you're talking title races with Tottenham. They ain't won the league since the TV was black and white.
61.
You know what I'm saying? Never again. But yeah, so the thing is that I'm hoping that we could have probably that kind of Poch. The problem is he then went to the big dog, right? He went to a place where, okay, you know what? We've seen what you can do when you have little, right? You were faithful with the little. Now let's give you much. And what we saw from his March, talk to me about his Champions League performances. What did we actually get? Now maybe, okay, he had 1-2 bites of the cherry, right? Maybe you could argue wasn't that great. Look at PSG's exits in the Champions League, for example. The manner in which they exit.
Can I just say, like, that was a robbery. Like, his team screwed him. Who missed the penalty?
Who did it go out to?
It was Messi.
Messi. First of all,
Messi missed the penalty.
First of all, Messi missed the penalty, and then I think a big part of sort of buying into Pochettino, a big part of Pochettino's success was that press. You're not gonna get Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe to press for you, bro. Like I'm sure there's been times where he's talking to them about tactics. Messi's like, you this guy. I know he used to play for the international team when I was younger, but you can't tell me to track back. Yeah, can't chat to me. Let's be real.
Because you know what, and you know what Oscar said earlier. Some people think that there are people who are just winners, and there's some people who are not, right? Then you have in football. I think there's also the middle ground. You got to turn off that data, Daniel. But yeah, don't watch that editing settings. But what's it called? Yeah, I think there's a middle ground, right? So you've got your Unai Emery's, for example, where when the piece is right, he can do something with that club. He can win something with that club. He can overachieve with them, right? I.e. Poch at Tottenham Hotspur, right? It's almost like he found the right place, the right time. There are some managers who are sort of in there in that right. There are some managers that are good in just below the elite tier, where this is where they thrive. They thrive with the lack of resources and still making something good. But when they've got all the resources and they have to deliver to the big cheese, they always seem to fall short. So to answer your question, which one is going to get me to the big cheese, is neither of them. But they both have similar traits in which I think both managers can overachieve with this Arsenal, for example. I think both can. But what's overachieving? Making the top four? If that's an overachievement of Arsenal, then it's a different Arsenal altogether. The reason why some Man United fans could have probably stood back and said, what are we doing with the Poch guy? It's because Man United were trying to fight for the title, not make the top four. So there's a difference between fighting for the title and making the top four. So what's the question? Who's going to win me the league? Neither of them, in my opinion, right now. However, is it who's going to make me the top four? Both of them can. That's where I am. That's why I said that for me, they're the exact same person.
You think Arteta can take you as high as Tottenham went under Poch?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're not catching my drift here. That Tottenham's overachievement was fighting for title races, not really making the top four anymore. He made the top four and he made it cement. Yeah. He was finishing second and third comfortably. Whereas for Arsenal, we need to get fourth right now. If we get third, it's like, wow, who is this Arsenal? Because you have to beat Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City to get third, right? So we're talking above and beyond. That means we're even in a title race, maybe.
Yeah,
you probably snuck into a title race of some kind. People are talking about Tottenham in a title race this year. Holy smokes! You know what I'm saying? So in that case, for me, I would probably go. I wouldn't be upset, but I would just know my expectations can't go high. Arsenal, bruv, guys, they've won the third most Premier League titles in the country. Let's not act like we're Leicester, Newcastle, Tottenham, Wolves, Forest. I know Forest have got the European Championship, but look at the league. Look at the league. The third biggest club in England, it doesn't behave like one.
Neither does the second. Or potentially first. You can argue.
Man United are the number one. But, you're right. And this is the reason why we are having these conversations. This is why people are pulling their hair out. It's because people are not behaving in their positions. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Arsenal win the league every year, but give me a race. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me get beat by Man United to the title or beat by Liverpool to the title or something. We're here toying with West Ham and friggin' Man United of this ilk right now and Tottenham Hotspur, Spurs beating us to the top four. I'm done out here, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm done. So yeah, it's a rubbish one. Pochettino's next job, by the way, may not be of the elite anymore. He may have to go to an Everton and do a Tottenham again, getting them into the top 4, top 6, right, every single season.
Listen,
That looks like his job.
Everton Football Club, if you can pull off the highest of the century and this major coup, you look at Frank Lampard, you line him up, bang, see you later. and you bring in Mauricio Pochettino. For me, I think Mauricio Pochettino is a phenomenal manager. And for me, I feel like the whole, prior to PSG, the whole sort of no trophy thing, I think it's an incredibly hard stick to beat him with when you look at the what he actually made Tottenham Hotspur and how he got them punching above their weight year after year after year after year. And his off year, or the decline started when, hang on a minute, I've taken you guys to a Champions League final and you ain't giving me not a single player this summer. What the hell do you want me to do?
The thing is, he never finished outside the top 4, did he? Except for his first season. That's incredible. But what my fear is does he still exist, that Poch?
That's a good question, man.
My nerves does he exist anymore?
That's a good question.
I.e., like, Mourinho all of a sudden lost the powers after 2015. And it went like a stone, isn't it? Man United finished, I think, 6th or 7th or 5th in the year after. Yes, he won the Europa League. But, look where he's ended up, right? He's at Roma. So I'm looking at, he was at Tottenham and then Roma. I'm looking at Pochettino where he's going to be in the Roma, Tottenham ilk of their day in that conversation.
But you make a good point about Roma, because obviously Jose's now at Roma, but all of a sudden Jose looks a lot happier. Jose looks like he's loved again, where they believe in him, they value him. They're like, holy friggin' smokes, you're Jose Mourinho, you're manager of my football club. Maybe Pochettino needs that, because I feel like when he went to Paris, it's almost like, okay,
you need to win me the Champions
Win me
League.
the Champions League, bro. I don't care about press. I don't care about style of football. Like, I don't care if you can make Paredes a 7 into a 9. We want the big meat. So maybe brother. I don't want no gizzards. I don't want no nothing. Give me that chicken. Give me that jollof and stew, brother. So I do think there's an element of that where maybe if Poch was to go to a slightly lower level club and he was backed appropriately, I think we could actually start to see that guy. I think that guy still exists, but
The thing is, the money won't be there though for those lower clubs. I think Arsenal is as low as it gets in terms of the people that have money. So like at Arsenal, it looks like look how Arsenal are looking after Arteta, right? They love him. No, as in like what you're talking about. They want somebody who's going to have that backing. And I think if he was at Arsenal, he actually could really much succeed. He could probably put us in a title race again. I just don't know if Pochettino of Southampton and Spurs is still there after the trauma he went for at the end of Spurs and then at PSG. That's my question.
because to be fair, he got to a Champions League final 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
3 years is a long time in football.
2019.
Yeah. It's a long time in football.
I mean, surely, he's somewhere. He's there.
Where would you rank him though, in terms of like when you look at it, right? If I put who's better, Emery, Poch?
Emery.
Good grief.
And there we are.
Good grief.
You understand? It's like really and truly.
It is Emery.
Really and truly, Brendan and Poch are more the same ilk.
Yeah.
And that it could sound disrespectful, but once upon a time people were tooting the Brendan horn. Yeah. And I was saying, guys, pump the freaking brakes. Okay?
No, do you know why? Because Brendan didn't actually what Brendan did with Leicester, there was a lot left that he hasn't actually done yet. Whereas what Poch did with Tottenham was truly amazing. Like Brendan was on the brink of something amazing with Leicester.
And Liverpool. At the time, remember Liverpool were not even
Liverpool 100%. I wasn't factoring in Liverpool because I think we all know that he was great at Liverpool. I just mean the Leicester thing. It's like he should have got Leicester top 4 on more than one occasion. So it's like he was on the brink of that. Whereas Poch brought Tottenham into the Champions League, kept them there, and took them to a final. So, Yeah,
it's incredible to think that he got the sack at Spurs. It's just still incredible that Poch got the sack at Spurs. I just find that still astonishing.
He was on a bad run when he got sacked.
Yeah,
He was on a really
that was a
bad
He was on a bad run, but everybody has their down valley, right? Then they come up again. And you got to ride that wave.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to ride that wave.
But made a great documentary. So
that was bizarre because I feel like he was only in it for 17 minutes. And then it's like, bang, Jose's in the dugout.
Jose straight away.
It's hilarious. Yeah, Pochettino, man. If he's the Spurs and Southampton, then yes. But I don't know who he is right now.
Yeah.
all the Arsenal fans in the comments, let us know what you think. Would you replace Poch? No, would you replace Emery Not even Emery. I'm thinking of all the Arsenal players. Yeah.
What Wenger? Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Would you replace Mikel Arteta with Poch? Let us know in the comments below.